A man getting bit by an alligator and he screams. Okay, quiet. Hey, quiet. Stood out towards me.
Ow! No, not an owl. A real scream of pain.
Fernando and Leo, thank you guys for joining us today to talk about Café Chairel, a film that we find, I think, really beautiful and moving. And if I could, I'd like to start with coffee. I would like to talk about coffee plays such a central role in this film, and it works as such a conceit or central metaphor. And yes, coffee's a universal thing, but I'm interested in why you pick that to sort of, I think, be the impetus, right, for the characters in the story.
Well, thank you guys for having us. Yeah, coffee is like an element of life. We take it every day in the morning. And we take coffee socially to interact with people. We take coffee alone. So it's like a conduct and in such matters. And it's always there in our lives. And it's like an element of how to tell a story without romanticizing, the coffee thing, because sometimes I didn't want to make it like a theme movie, like a very thematic coffee movie. It's not like that. Right. Coffee is in the film. It's important, but to me it was more like the elements of the personalities of the characters. Alfonso, he is sweet, and as the cream, and Katia, he is like the coffee, like a dark coffee.
Bitter and acidic kind of.
Yeah. So it's a nice mix, a nice combination of elements that they like a crash. They have a clash, at the beginning, but they are as soon they meet, they become like a good blend. Yeah. So I think
Which some of what you just said then plays to how we see the characters develop too, right? Where Alfonso starts off knowing as like the worst barista in the world, right? Right?
Yes.
He makes bad coffee, right? And even when he meets Katia's like, that was terrible coffee. But soon, right, he starts to develop more of a palate for it, right? And Katia talks about how they're making the best blend they've ever made. And you see those two progress like through the relationship with coffee as well, which I think is just so kind of interesting and nuanced in the way that lets the characters develop.
Yeah, well, actually, and with the characters, I didn't want to make like an obvious arc, because I like when in films when the characters they don't change, because I think that the change sometimes they are like false, or because pain is something that it never goes away. So you cannot just suddenly change a person to be happy and overcome everything in their lives and just have this big and successful business and go on with life. So I didn't want them to change a lot. I just wanted like a very slow, suddenly that there is a progress in there, in the inside and in the business, but it's so slow that you cannot see truly that it's changing. But that's I think that is the way I did the whole film, very solid.
Yeah. And I'll stop talking.
No, it's
in a
fine.
minute,
Go ahead. It's
but
okay.
going back to that, you're right. I mean, like pain and grief, they never go away, right? We just learn how to manage them in a little different way. And I mean, now that you say that about not wanting the characters to change, as much as Alfonso did progress in his like tasting of coffee, right, and tasting notes, by the end of the film, he's still dumping milk, right, into that coffee. So he hasn't changed that much, which is, yeah, I mean, we're never going to get over that kind of loss, that kind of grief, right? We just kind of learn how to go on in a maybe little bit better way. Yeah.
Yes, grief is a complex thing. So yeah, I think this movie is very special for us because we all kind of go through a grief in life, a lot of griefs maybe, and that's like, I think, the spirit of the movie, and there's something of us in every character, and I think everyone can relate to that.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is your use of camera movement or lack of camera movement. And as these characters, you do such a great job of portraying this feeling of, especially as we're dealing with emotional trauma, of how we're moving through the world, but the world kind of stays static. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on your placement of the camera and how you had these really long, beautiful shots and how they interacted with the characters.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I envision the film. I didn't want to move the camera unless there's a need of revealing something. I wanted to portray something that is not, the time is not passing by, it's just static. And also I wanted to make the audience feel like they are observing these characters like through a window into a house. So they are like, the audience are like intruders in this like how do you say, intimidad?
Intimacy. Yes, like intruders in the set, in the scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. So the camera needs to be just like a very. I don't usually don't like to follow any trends, and nowadays everybody is move the camera all the way possible, and so I don't see film like that. I like just to portray something and stay there, and make like the essence of the, because the house is also a character, and the house is also telling you something. So I want to just stay there and not move. And when there is there's a few moments with movement, it's because there is some emotion there that you can feel that, and it's special because when the camera start moving and it's very, very subtle, you feel something. And that's why I wanted to focus and choose the right, frame for each scene, because it was difficult to shoot in the same location and try not to repeat the same, shoots, it's the same frames. But at the end, it was like the obvious decisions to make for me, because of my influence, the way I see cinema. It was like very easy how to decide what to set up in each. The most difficult scene for me was when they are attending, when they are having the first complaint, because there's too many things going on. So we can talk about that.
Yeah. But that's such a funny scene too. There's so much, and in a movie that has so much pathos and feeling, and you have so much empathy for these characters. It really is at its core. There's a lot of really funny moments in this movie, and I think that's really wonderful as well, that we kind of find those moments in these moments of pain, especially as we're kind of coming together.
Yeah, well, pain is something that I mean, this is a drama, and I don't like to call it like a dramedy, because it feels weird. But it's a drama with humor and with romance. So the thing I like about drama and feeling something for characters is that you introduce the characters to the audience through humor, through a little bit of comedy, because that way you can connect with them. So you care about them once you connect with them. So there at the beginning, there's a little bit more of that kind of scenes of humor, and then it starts, unfolds the drama.
And I mean, going back to what you mentioned about that moment where we do have camera movement, when that first client comes in, we have connected with those characters kind of so much by that point that we are hoping that it works out, right? We are kind of watching them in this, not exactly madcap scenario, but a kind of like, how are they going to mess this up kind of way? But we're hoping that they don't. And then there's the moment where he takes off the first bill, right, from the wall to give the guy change, which again, just this another moment of us feeling, I think, an emotional connection to what that means for Alfonso, right? To have to take that down and give it out. And of course we see it come back later, which is a nice return.
Yes, one of my favorite parts of the movie. Mauricio, the actor who plays Alfonso, he's an amazing actor. He's a great person. I love him. He's like a very close friend. And when I first knew that he was in the movie, I knew that it was going to be an amazing film. And yeah, that part is that I think Mauricio is that type of person too. I think he really he kind of shares personality with Alfonso. So yeah, it was a great cast.
So speaking of cast, your character Adam is kind of cloaked in secrecy. Right, we see him interacting with Katya, right, but we don't really know kind of how it all fits, and until later, right, until we get a reveal, right, and I won't spoil that reveal, right. But how did that influence how you sort of approach that role?
When I first read the script and I got the part, I actually didn't get it that much. I didn't knew what really, as an actor, I had to do. So we talk a lot about it with Fernando until I started to get it. But I honestly have to say that until I was on set, I didn't knew that much about my character. And for me as an actor, it was a great opportunity to just feel what it is at that moment and feel my director's vision and the other actors' input, so I can really know there what's happening and not thinking about that much. And the first time that I saw the movie a couple of weeks ago, I finally got it, and I finally understand the whole thing. That's the beauty about cinema. So for me, it was very revealing in all aspects as an actor, because that didn't happen to me in other projects. I mean, TV shows, and that you don't get the opportunity to feel that much. And this was that was my experience with Adam and with the movie.
I think one of the things that I love about this film is that it shows not only just the effects of trauma, but how we blame ourselves, and when we have these things come upon us, we also have to deal with our part in creating that trauma. I think one of the things that both with Katya and Alfonso, how they again struggle with that. Can you speak to a little bit about just kind of those moments in the film?
Yes, I think that's all go around that theme. And I like to talk about some topics that they are not talking about these days, like for example, interpretation and suicide and all that kind of things that, for some reason, I don't know why new generation you cannot just say that word in social media. You have to be self censor. Censor yourself, sorry. But I wanted to just say, well, these people, they're scrolling inside. You don't know, because you see sometimes people, they are happy they are smiling, they're laughing, but you don't know what's going on inside. And this is that kind of film that shows that not everything is what it seems. So I wanted to show all the both ways the characters are dealing with the same thing. One is angry with life, Katia is angry with life, and she is angry with herself, and she is punishing herself because she is not moving on with life. And the other way, Alfonso, he's dealing in another way. He is just trying to avoid everything, That's why there's all these scenes where he's trying to hide, in the bathroom. I think that exactly what I want to show is how these characters deal. And I know many people deal differently with depression and with trauma. But also I wanted to show people that you are not alone, when you are feeling like that way. So that was one of the things.
I love the moment, Leo, when you're talking with Alfonso. Adam's talking to Alfonso, and he's talking about how they sold the house and he gave half the money. And you're like, why would you give her half the money? You didn't need to do that. And I think it's such an emblematic moment for Alfonso. It's just like, I did it because it was what I thought was the right thing to do. I think it's just a beautiful moment for that character, and a great interaction between you two that just kind of like really it explains so much about both of you, but it's particularly Alfonso and how he kind of moves through this life of trying to shrink himself in most ways and kind of like not take up space and do not be a burden. It's really, really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, again, Mauricio is an amazing actor. He really shares with you what he's feeling. He's trying to pull you into his game of acting, and that's something that is really important to happen because, yeah, he really involves the whole thing into. I mean, whatever he's presenting, you have to do it with him. So yeah, he's funny. The chemistry was there, so we have fun.
Well, it was there with you and Katia as well. I mean, I think the three leads. I mean, you guys were just amazing, and it was it really kind of just pops off the screen how well you all interacted with one another.
Yes, of course. Tessa she's also amazing, great actress. We really connect with them, and the whole movie is very important that to happen because we all connect with Fernando too, and the whole crew. Everyone was there. We really connect.
Was this always going to be set in Tampico, or was there a level of comfort there for you, or were there other locations you were considering?
Yeah, I always wanted to shoot in my hometown, for sure. You don't know when or with what project, but you have sometimes you have pictures something the places you know, and that you have a connection with. But what truly convinced me to shoot in Tampico was the house, because if I didn't have found the house in Tampico, I probably will continue searching in another place, because the house needed to be special, needed to be isolated. You don't see the neighbors around. I wanted to feel like a little world where only these two people are, and also it needed to have character and aesthetic and all these elements that it needed to work. And I knew that in Tampico there were just few houses like this because they are wooden houses and they are not maintained. So many of them are already in ruins. So this one, it was kind of abandoned, but not in completely in ruins. We had to restore some of the roof and one of the parts of the house so it doesn't fall down when shooting. So several part of the project went to that department. So, but it was from that point on I decided to shoot in Tampico.
Are there other ways that Tampico acts as a character? Because I know you talked about the house acting as a character, but what about the town as well?
I think Yes, Tampico is a city that is surrounded by water, different bodies of water like rivers, lagoons. Also, Chairel is a big lagoon in Tampico, and also the Gulf of Mexico, the beach. So it's water all over the place. It's a lot of humidity. So I think water is like a element of healing. So also you see water not only in the outside and outdoors. You can see it inside the house when they are having a shower, when they get into the tub, or with the fish tank. There's always some kind of element of water inside the movie, because I think that water helps a lot to have a sensation of dealing and having like a reborn. So it's a kind of a theme.
I had forgotten about the fish and how much I love the detail of Alfonso and the fish and how he doesn't eat fish because they were his friends, right? As a kid growing up, I just love that kind of quirky character detail. I thought it was so charming.
Yeah, that was like, for me, when I see that part when Alfonso is a kid, it's like pure cinema. That works as a cinema piece. It doesn't have to. I mean, it has meaning for Alfonso. That if it meaning wasn't there, I'd love to see that as well. I don't care about meaning. I don't care about anything. That frame is amazing.
It's so beautiful, right? I mean, and so much of this film is just beautiful, right? I mean, so yes, it's like we can dig into meaning all we want, right? As long as we want. But the beauty in this film is so important as well, right? And it's just as important for me as the meaning is too. And going back to something you said earlier about the static shots and framing in the house, the shooting through doorways, I found really compelling as well. Looking through the doorway, again, like we're viewers, like we're voyeurs, like we're intruding into the scene, was really effective for me in framing that.
Yeah, I think that's a way of approaching a character. You can show different ways of approaching, and this way you feel like you are not supposed to be there, because it's so sensitive what they are dealing with, and you are there with them. And that's why I always, in every frame, I wanted to have these elements of the door or the window or whatever it is. So it feels like you are sneaking around, and it's a type of frame that it's called frame within a frame. So and I was very inspired by Wong Kar-wai in that kind of matter, and also in the lighting, because we always wanted to have practical lights inside the house, and that kind of elements that helps building this atmosphere and this essence of what is going on inside the house. It's real and not just a set when sometimes it feels fake. And also I try to use always like long lenses, because that way you can separate the characters from everything, and that's another way to isolate them.
From page to screen, you have a vision as you start out. Was there anything that significantly changed or changed your vision of the story as you started to put it together with your three main leads?
Yes, always, all the time. I think this screenplay changed a lot through the years, and in the couple of months during the pre-production, we did a little improvements. I like to say it was improvement because when you don't have all the things you want, you have to be creative and change. So probably one of the things that I don't want to reveal is that we wanted to make a big scene, a dramatic scene inside the beach. but we moved it into the house. So I think that was one of the things. And probably, I don't know, I think the screenplay was bigger, and there were too many scenes that we didn't shoot, and too many scenes that we end up, cut it off of the final cut. But at the end it was the same story, there was the same essence, and I think there's another scene that wasn't part of the end product that was related to the business problems, because all business have many obstacles. So one of the obstacles that we wanted to show or portray, and it was like a robbery. So at the end we decided not to go that way because we would rather focus on the drama. But yeah, there are parts of the story that probably was continuing, changing, and evolving.
You will have to do a director's cut with
With the robbery in place.
Right. Well, and I was just thinking of if I'm reading that right, then I won't say what it is, but the scene that you had originally on the beach that moved into the house, I think it is so much more effective than in the house than it would have been on the beach because of what we have seen earlier too.
That's exactly what I think. When you don't have the resources, for some reason, you are forced to be creative, and you find better options, and that's a beautiful thing about independent filmmaking, because you have to continue being creative and not just throw everything out of the window because you don't have the money or you don't have the days or whatever. You have to explode that little brain. So I think it worked, and I think it worked better.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of our most creative moments probably come from obstacles, right, occurring in front of us, and then having to fix that problem, right, and finding those creative ways to do that. What's next for the film? Where does the film go from here?
We can say that
we haven't been announced in our next film festival. Okay. But it's going to be soon. Okay. So we'll let you know.
Absolutely soon. Yeah.
So we can spread the word.
Absolutely.
And we are excited about that. It's coming very soon, and also we are seeking for distribution, because the way we did the film, it was like without any attachments, so we could make our own vision, my own director cut.
Right.
Anything else we need to know about the film? Anything that we didn't touch on?
I don't know. I just want to say that again, for me as an actor, it was a great opportunity to shake these masks that we put on as an actress. We always want to look really like this, and it's
to be fair, you look great.
Thank you, but in front of the camera, that's not necessary. That's not an attribute that you want to share with your audience. You want them to feel things and to make them think about, I don't know, something. And I think this was a great opportunity for me. So thank you, Fernando, for that. And I don't know, I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to that, I love how you describe that approach, right, of just letting the feelings kind of guide you through it rather than overthinking or over-intellectualizing or having to understand every little thing. Just feeling that in the moment, right, and how that feels more real.
Yes, that approach for me is tricky, because if you don't have like the ability to feel things, or you're just having a bad day or whatever it is, that doesn't happen. But somehow it did happen, at least for me. it happened. And that's because our director, our other actors, crew, the producer, everyone was involved. So that's contagious, and that I used that to be there.
Yeah, well, I just want to add that, of course, the film is, very. One important part of the film is the team behind. It's not only me and the actors, it's also the producers. And I think one of the important elements of the film is the writer, that is a Japanese writer, Atsushi Fuji, whose work inspired me to do this film. So without him, there is no Café Chairel. So I think I would love to have him in one of the film festivals, and just so he can also speak. We could probably speak more about how we, change or transform the ambition he had within mind. And I think also I want to thank the film festival in Dallas for having us. It's a great opportunity for showing the film to audiences here, and let's see how they react. We didn't follow any trend, we didn't follow anything that is going on out there. So if they are interested in this kind of cinema, that it's probably honest, and probably give it a shot,
It is a beautiful, moving film that is at times funny and sad, but also full of hope, I think. So, best of luck with the film, you guys.
And congratulations on putting together a beautiful piece of work. Yeah. Really, really amazing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful film.
And thank you for taking time to speak with us as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for having us.
You have been listening to Why Does the Wilhelm Scream with your hosts, Brock and Jason. If you liked today's episode, do us a favor and rate, review, and subscribe in whatever application you use to consume podcasts these days. You can reach us by visiting whydoesthewilhelmscream.com. If you are in the DFW area, we would love to see you at a Fort Worth Film Club event. You can learn more about those and find a full schedule at fortworthfilmclub.com. And you can learn about my foundation and how we are trying to foster the next generation of film lovers at realhousefoundation.org. That's REEL housefoundation.org. Till next time.